To Steve's point, everybody says life, sports is mental. Have you ever heard sports is 90% mental? It's 80% mental, right? And so the question is always, if it's that much mental, and let's just even assume that it's 10% mental, but like the steering wheel of your car is only a small part of your car, good luck getting anywhere without it. So what are we doing to train our minds, right? So you can train three things. You can train your body physically. You can go to the gym and work out. You can train your skills. You can go in the sand. You can work on your short game. You can go to the range with Steve and work on all parts of your game to get better with your skills. And you can train your mind. And so my question to all of you is to just kind of take a second and as a baseline, ask yourselves, how much time are you spending training your mind? So if it's that important, how much are you doing right now to actually train your mind, to do mental drills, as I was saying earlier, to build mental skills? How much time do you spend just on average training your mind?
No.
It's not much.
Well, it could be more.
Could be more. Not much. So we have life and a sport that's very mental. And I'm going to explain to you how that works today, but we're not training it. And the reason why is twofold. One, coaches that are good with the skills of the game often don't know what skills to give you to train your mind. Right. And the other thing is you don't know what to do. Somebody says, hey, I want you to train confidence. I want you to train. Who would want more confidence? Raise your hand if you want more confidence. Right. Including me. So what are you doing to train your confidence? Right. We think, and I'm going to explain why it doesn't work. We think working harder. Let me take more shots. Let me get more blisters on my hand. But what does that do to train your inner critic? Going in the sand isn't doing anything to fight that inner critic that's in your mind when you miss that shot or when your nerves are getting ramped up before you go to a tournament. That's what I want to teach you today. Would that be good to walk out of here with? Okay. So what is mental performance? Mental performance is the development and application of mental skills, attitudes. Feel free to take any screenshots you want of the slides, strategies and processes that allow us to overcome obstacles and perform at our best consistently. Let's listen to this quick clip from a really, really great athlete. And I want you to hear why he stops the reporter.
Mental strength, which is what I think is your great gift, is much harder to articulate.
I would have to correct you. I have to correct you. It's not a gift. It's something that comes with work.
You train for the mental side the way you would your serve or your forehand. How?
Absolutely. Well, there are different techniques.
So that's what I want to give you today. So why do I do this? Why is this so important to me? So I grew up in a small town in Scarborough, Maine. I'm not from California. My mom was a first grade school teacher and my dad was a college professor at the University of Southern Maine. And to the outside world, I look like every other middle-class family in Scarborough, Maine. But that wasn't the reality of my young life. By the age of 6, I suffered my first closed fist punch and a bloody nose at the hands of my violent dad. And at the age of 19, he had a .45 caliber pistol leveled at my head. I left Scarborough, Maine at 19 years old with nothing but student loans and credit card debt to make my way in this world. I thought that if I left and achieved, that I could forget what happened to me. And I did. I became one of the most active retail developers in the state of California. We're driven over Malibu Canyon Road. I built the Albertson Center at Las Virgenes and the 101's little Starbucks there. But that wasn't the reality of my life. By the age of 35, I became a full-blown alcoholic and a drug addict. I couldn't go a day without putting something in my body to change the way that I felt. Why was that? Because I gave the pen to the story of my life to everybody else. I gave this pen away to the bullies at school, to my violent dad, to the teachers that put me in special ed, to all the outside critics, and I let them write on the pages of my life. And I became who they said they would become. Well, I found recovery for my drug and alcohol problem. Just actually last week, I celebrated 17 years of continuous sobriety. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of mental work. It's a lot of consistent work, but I needed to find a solution to my mental game because my mind had been very conditioned from all of those past experiences. So this work that I'm going to do with you today has become foundational to me surviving in this world and thriving in this world. And I work all over the country with professional athletes. I work with Academy Award winners. I work with high-level executives, and all of them struggle with their mindset, their confidence, their self-control and discipline, and their resilience. So the first thing that I would do, right, as a coach, any good coach, the first thing I do is I got to break down the competition for you. So what's the competition to you having optimal mental performance? It's your own mind. So just by a show of hands, how many of your recurring thoughts do you think, the average person, how many of our recurring thoughts lean negative? Worry, doubt, fear, insecurity, comparison. Just by just some numbers for what you think on a daily basis, how many of your thoughts lean negative? How many would you say? You know,
What about 40%?
40%?
It's like 75.
Yeah.
I'm like 50%.
Okay.
Let's say 78.
So here's what's interesting, right? And Steve does know the answer, but all of you know it's a majority of your thoughts, right? So it's a lot of your thoughts. The answer is 78% of your regular thoughts lean negative. Here's something worse. Dr. Richard Hanson at the Wellspring Institute, and this shocked me, but it brought a lot of things into perspective, did brain studies. And what he found is your brain is also like Teflon for negativity and Velcro. It's like Velcro for negativity and Teflon for positivity. What do I mean by that? Your mind, without any effort on your part, keeps track of all of your negative experiences, all of your missed shots, all your lost tournaments, all of the mistakes that you make in practice, all the setbacks that you have. Your brain stores those and keeps them automatically in your mind. Think of your mind like the museums of a hallway. And inside is this little evil curator. And what he does is he takes all of your mistakes and failures, and as they happen, he hangs them up on the museum walls of your mind. And as you want to go down opportunity hallway, which you're all going to want to do, whether you want to play at the collegiate level or go from collegiate to pros, you're all going to want to do more. And what he does is he takes those negative pictures and he hangs them down opportunity hallway to keep you safe and protected. You see, your mind is designed to help you survive, not to thrive. By default, your brain is meant to help you survive, not to thrive. So anytime you want to do more, your mind's going to try to limit you and whisper in your ear, you might not have it. You might not be good enough. All those other people have it and you don't, to keep you safe. So it's our job to fight against that negativity bias. And I ask you to think about what is that 78% and that Velcro? What's it costing us? What do you think it's costing you? A lot, right? Costing your goals, your dreams, right? Taking that next step, getting out of your comfort zone, to going all in, to going for it and say, hey, you know what? I'm going for this because I'm not going to listen to that inner critic. And so my job today, really, as we sit together, is to introduce you to your inner champion and to give you skills and strategies to be able to overcome that negativity bias. So here's the great news. First thing I would do, just like you would warm up before a golf game, or just like you would warm up before a golf practice, I'm going to give you your mental warm up. So what I want you all to do is put your phones down, sit up straight spines and alert mind. I'll take a big deep breath in through your nose, hold it, breathe out through your mouth like you're blowing out a can. Again, in through your nose, out through your mouth. The breath is your key to focus. It happens in the present moment. Now, what I want you all to do is I want you to think of a tournament you won, a dance that you went to. For the fathers in this room, maybe it was getting engaged or having your child. Think of something that puts a smile on your face. I want you to think deep down inside of some memory that you have, a shot that you made, anything that puts a smile on your face, and literally put a smile on your face and raise your hand when you have that moment. Raise your hand when you have that moment that puts a smile on your face. If I asked you to think about a mistake you made, your hands would have gone up a lot faster. Good. So now, close your eyes. And what I want you to do with all your conscious energy, emotion, and feeling, I want you to go back and recall that memory of that exciting performance that puts a smile on your face with all the confidence and emotion and feeling as if it's happening right now. Open your eyes. When's the last time any of you took 15 seconds and focused on one of your successes, on something good that happened? Not often, right? You go home and you think about that missed shot. You go home and you think about that missed test, or who didn't email you back, or what you didn't get done. But you never condition your mind for success. So you give into that negativity bias because no one's ever taught you a skill, a drill that you can do to actually build that skill of reconditioning the mind and putting to bed that little inner critic inside your mind, that inner negative curator. So my first question for you to write down, right? And I want you to take notes and put some stuff on paper in your phone. When are you going to take your 15 seconds for success? My suggestion is every night before you go to bed, you sit down and you focus for 15 seconds. Can you give me 15 seconds to recondition that negativity bias and focus on something? You can do it with your families right after dinner, but before you go to bed, I want all of you to commit to take 15 seconds for success. Will you do that for me? Can I hear a yes?
Yes.
All right. So what is mindset? You hear a lot about mindset, right? So what is mindset? Mindset is, everybody hold up your left hand. Mindset is a conditioned set of beliefs, say beliefs, that drive behaviors, hold up your right hand and say behaviors, that generate results in our lives, put them together. It's a conditioned set of beliefs that drive behavior that generate results in your life. So when your beliefs and your behaviors are in alignment, you can generate results in your life. So I always ask my clients, and I have a question on the back of my card, and it asks this question, and you should ask yourself this question: is what I want for my life consistent with what I do in my life? Okay. So I have a little gift here. I have $50, which I brought for this workshop. Sorry, Carrie. Does anybody want $50? Anybody like Starbucks or have something they want? Anybody want $50? Anybody want $50?
Sure. I won't say no.
I'm going to ask for a third time if anybody really wants $50.
Yeah.
No, you don't, because if you did, you'd have gotten up and taken it out of my hand. You see, there's a lot of things that you want in your life, but no one's going to give them to you. You can raise your hand in life. You can want better scores, better relationships, a better golf game, but no one's going to give those things to you. And why didn't you get up? I didn't want to make a fool of myself. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I was unsure. I lacked confidence. And that's what's going to keep you in your seat of life. And it's robbing you of things that are literally right in front of you. Like all of the goals in, sorry, Karen, if you wanted $50, you could have stepped in the chat, but you get that? You get that? That it was here for you? That it was right in front of you, but no one's going to give it to you. No one's going to give you that scholarship. You have to play offense. My friend Sean Casey, who I have a picture of in my conference room, played 13 years of Major League Baseball, was a career 302 hitter. 3 All-Star games. You know how many offers he had out of high school? 0. You know how many letters he wrote? 31. You know where he got a scholarship? The 31st letter he wrote to the University of Richmond. If he didn't write that letter and play offense in his life, he would not have played Major League Baseball for 13 years, which is a game of failure. So I want you all to play offense in your life. Don't wait for it to come to you. Don't wish it to come to you. Get up off your chairs, off your seats, and go get what you want in life and go all in. Agree? You with me? Is everyone going to go for it from now on? We're not leaving $50 on the table of our lives, yes?
Can you test us again?
I can't. But that's, you will be tested again. There's something when you leave here that you're going to want with all your heart, and you're going to remember that you didn't get up and get the $50. And hopefully all of you, when you're tested again, will get up and go get it. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 3 things today. Confidence, have to give it to you. It's the number one thing people come to me for, and it's the number one thing that's not understood. We're going to go over self-control and discipline, how to overcome adversity when we get into yellow and red light. I'm going to give you some tools to do that. And last, I want to teach you about courage and resilience and how you can overcome and see adversity as your advantage. I'm going to tell you the story of the buffalo. If I give you those 3 things today, would everybody feel they got something out of today? Yes, awesome. Okay, so first let's talk about confidence. This is Russ Harris. He wrote a great book called The Confidence Gap. Confidence is one of the most misunderstood attributes of all human performance. People think I need to feel confident. Who in here believes confidence is a feeling right now? I have to feel confident. Yeah. And now you know. We do confidence. Confidence is an action. Confidence is simply the belief in your ability to take on challenges and face obstacles that you'll undoubtedly face. It's to lay the foundation for goal setting. It's a pathway to growth. So confidence comes from the Latin word confidere. This isn't a Latin test, don't worry. But what does confidere mean? It means intense trust. So what is self-confidence? It's an intense trust of yourself. Do you hear me? It's an intense trust of yourself. You say, Charlie, trust myself how? It's to trust yourself to try. It's to trust yourself to fail. Failure is simply feedback. It's an event, not a person. Because you failed doesn't mean you're a failure. Failure is the pathway to growth. We embrace failure because you then trust yourself to learn and grow, and then you trust yourself to try again. Failure is not falling down. It's staying down. Do you hear me? Failure is not falling down, it's staying down. So get back up. There's 5 steps to develop your unshakable self-confidence. The first, commitment. You've got to want something. You've got to make a commitment to yourself that you are going to do what it takes no matter what. And every failure that you go through is just an opportunity for you to get better. You've got to make a commitment about what you want. Ask yourself, what do I want? What do I really, really want? And what's the price of that? And am I willing to pay that price? One of my closest friends is a guy named George Mumford. I gave Steve his book. He worked with the Lakers and the Bulls, Kobe, Michael Jordan, best of the best. People would come to him and say, what made Michael so good? And he would tell them what he did. And they wouldn't do it because they weren't about that. They weren't willing to pay the price that it takes. And your work that you do, the things that you don't do at school, the things that you do to go onto the range at the putting green to work on your short game, don't let anybody say you're making a sacrifice. Sacrifice feels like you're giving something up. It's an investment. Everything you do is an investment in you and an investment in what you say you want. So the first thing you have to do is make a commitment. Second thing, courage. I wear a wristband that says courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing what needs to be done no matter what. We all think that Steve said it best. Courage is not the absence of doubt. Everybody that plays professional sports has lots of doubt, but they don't let that fear keep them from getting into gear. Every time that they go through something, it's like building a muscle. When you go to the gym, you lift weights, what happens to your muscle? Do you know? Gets torn apart, gets broken down in the gym. It's called stress and adaptation. Believe it or not, your body knows after you work out and you work those arms and you work that shoulder and your back's tight, your body knows that you've broken down that muscle. And when you leave and you drink protein and you drink and hydrate, your muscle rebuilds itself so it gets stronger because your body knows it's going to put that stress on it again and it wants it to be stronger for the next event. So that's courage. Courage is doing that and getting stronger as a result of it. Then you have to do it consistently. Consistency is the key. You can't be just an average person trying to do an elite thing. You have to be consistent. You have to act differently than you feel. You have to do things even when you don't feel like it. Motivation is a myth. Remember that. You don't want to wait till you feel motivated to go practice or to go lift or to go stretch or to go do that work. Motivation begins once movement starts. So move yourself, act differently than you feel. Feelings mess with everybody. I don't feel like it are the 5 killers of everybody's dreams. Forget how you feel. Stay committed. So do it consistently. That'll build your confidence, right? So as you do things consistently, competence and confidence go hand in hand. That's the last step. So as you make a commitment, have the courage to do it consistently, you build confidence, which builds your confidence. It's much like riding a bike, right? So I grew up in Scarborough. Did anyone else here have tried training wheels? Any of you kids have training wheels? Okay, all that training wheels. Good. So you remember. So training wheels limited you. What did you see? You saw other kids that were going further, riding faster, and you're like, okay, I'm done with these training wheels. But you saw everybody that took their training wheels off. What happened to them? They fall. They scraped their knee. They bumped their chin. They got a Band-Aid on. What happened? Oh, I took my training wheels off, but I fell. Good. Because what happens is you learn from that. You pedal faster, right? You balance yourself a little more, and then you're able to go further and go faster. Don't keep the training wheels on in your life. Have a commitment. Have the courage to take the training wheels off. Trust that you're going to fall, scrape your knee, lose a few tournaments, lose a few matches, not get picked to start. All that's going to happen. Good. Can I get better? Can I show up again tomorrow with the same energy and enthusiasm that I had once I made the commitment to myself, even though I'm not getting what I want? That's the question that I have for all of you, because confidence is belief times evidence is where your confidence comes from. So conditioning your confidence is going back and looking how you got where you are now. You are playing on a golf team. You're competing in the game of golf because you decided sometime you wanted to do it and you were doing it. Go back and search for confidence in your past and then apply that to the things that you want to do in the future. Remember, we don't control events and we don't control outcomes, but we always control our response. So write that formula down. E plus R equals O. Events are out of our control. Right? Weather's out of our control. Landing in a divot, out of our control. The wind, out of our control. Our opponents, out of our control. Right? How much do we focus on other players, what they're doing? Right? We focus on things that are out of our control. I need a volunteer. Who wants to know? Okay. Have we ever worked together?
No.
Never worked together. Can you inspect the bat and confirm that it's just a wooden bat?
As far as I know.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to focus on the bottom of the bat. I'm going to ask you to balance it on your fingers, but the bottom of the bat are all the things that are out of your control. So focus on the things that are out of your control and try to, I won't let it hit you in the head. Try to balance it on your two fingers by focusing down on what's out of your control. Okay, again, out of your control. Okay, now, I'm gonna ask you to shift your attention to what's in your control. Give me some things that are in your control. I'll start, attitude. In your control? Your attitude in your control? What else is in your control? 100% in your control. Body language, that's exactly right, thank you. What else is in your control? Effort?
Yeah.
Right? What else is in your control? Your response is in your control. Your perspective, right? Your self-talk, in your control or out of your control? Self-talk. In your control, right? So now all I'm gonna do is ask this young man to do the same thing, except this time I want you to focus on all those things the girls just mentioned are in your control. Balance the bat, focus on what's in your control, ready? You see that? Let's give a round of applause, come on. Energy's a decision. We're not here taking naps, but that's your golf game. The more you focus on the things out of your control, the more difficult it is, the more challenging it is. The more you're trying, and it's getting harder and harder because you're focused on the wrong thing. So the way to influence the outcomes that you want, no matter what that is, playing time, getting picked for the tournament, doing anything that you want, is to focus on what's in your control. Ask yourself at every moment, what's in my control? My attitude, right? My effort, my energy, my positive self-talk, my perspective, my energy, all within my habits, what time I get up, what time I go to bed, what I eat, right? My AM routine, my PM routine, how disciplined I am, all in your control. Tom Brady was the 7th quarterback at Michigan when he was a young man. Now, we all know he won a bunch of Super Bowls. He started at the 7th on the depth chart, which means there were 6 guys playing quarterback ahead of him in college. And he went to a guy named Greg Harden, who does what I do. And he said, who does what I do. And he said, I'm thinking of transferring out of Michigan because I'm sick of not getting enough playing time. And he said, why don't you stop worrying about everybody else ahead of you and start making yourself better? Don't wish it was easier. Make every rep your rep. Focus on your energy. Focus on your attitude. Focus on what you do when you do have the ball. And I guarantee you that I don't know if you'll start a quarterback, but you'll be a better person and you'll be in control of what happens to you because we wanted you and the school you transfer is going to want you. So he went all in on what's in his control. And I think the story tells itself, right? By focusing on what was in his control, instead of being a victim of everybody else and victim of what everyone else was doing, he took responsibility and became a creator of his own life, owned his own pen. Yes? So remember, E plus R equals O. So beliefs influence results. Your beliefs that you have about yourself, confidence is about your beliefs. What you say to yourself dictate your thoughts, right? Beliefs. I can do this. It's not impossible. It's going to be a challenge. And I'm up for that challenge. That creates a thought. Hey, I could do this. Creates an emotion. I feel good. I'm ready to go. That creates a behavior. I'm going to go practice. I'm going to go work hard. I'm going to focus on the shot that I've got to take. That creates results. Negative belief, it's impossible. I can't do this. Everybody else is better than me. Creates a thought. I'm not built for this. Creates an emotion. Shoulders down, head down. Now I'm a little discouraged. Creates a behavior. I'm not going to, what's the point? I'm going to take today off. I'm not going to go hit those shots. I'm not going to go make those putts. Creates a result that you don't want. You see how the belief generates a thought, generates an emotion, generates a behavior. That's where your results are coming from. It all starts with your belief. What you tell yourself about yourself is the most powerful tool. What you write with that pen, the most powerful tool I can give you today. You see how that chain works? So always go back to what's the belief I have about this? Is it true? Is it totally true? What can I do that's in my control to change it? Any questions so far? Making sense so far? With me so far? Understanding so far? Good. So you say to me, but really the pros struggle with this? This is a man named Tony Gonzalez. Some of you in the room that are a little older may recognize him. Tony Gonzalez revolutionized the tight end position in football. He went from a blocking position to a catching position. He was a very highly coveted draft pick in the NFL, played at UC Berkeley, and by his second year in the NFL, he led the league in drop passes. See, you're all going to face this when you go from uncommon to common. So you're going to be the best on your team. You're going to be one of the best in the county. You're going to get lots of awards and lots of playing time because you're going to put the work in, and then you're going to go to the next level. And guess what? Everyone's going to be. And you're going to start to doubt yourself. And that doubt's going to creep in like, boy, these people are all county. They're all starters. They're all 3-year varsity players. Now I'm up against them. Guess what happens to a small fish when it goes into a big pond? No, it eats and gets bigger. There's bigger stuff to eat. You want to go into the bigger pond. But here's Tony Gonzalez, who led the league in drop passes. And he's going to tell you about why right now.
Depression, that story of like it all went to shit for me. And where, you stop believing in yourself and you suck and you're just not good, where it can bring you to your knees,
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me. I was brought to my knees where I was on the
Literally or
bottom.
figuratively.
Literally, where, there's clips of me dropping another ball and just hitting the earth, the grass, out of frustration. And I would go home that night and I would be crying in my room, drinking a bunch of alcohol and crying and just spiraling out of control.
Wow.
6'30", 6'4", 6'5", 230, big guy in his room, drinking a bunch of alcohol, crying because he led the league in drop passes. Did he forget how to catch the ball from his senior year at Berkeley to the rookie year in the NFL? Did he forget how to catch a football? No. What happened?
I was in the wrong place. I was in my head, and I was working my ass off. I was working hard, and I was logical about my approach. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go 5 steps and then cut it in and cut it out. But you can't play that way.
You can't play that way. You can't be in your head in competition. You train and then you trust. And if you're in your head, always trying to replicate that last good shot or not make the next shot bad, you're putting tension on yourselves. You're putting pressure on yourselves. And pressure and tension are poison for an athlete, especially one that's playing a competitive game against golf, where it's you against the course. And you're in your head and you're walking to a shot and you have a long time to be in your head, right? Long way from the tee box to the next shot for you to be in your head. So if you don't have a thought strategy, right? Who's in charge, the thinker or the thought? Any guesses? You should know by now. The thinker's in charge, right? With the trained mind, the thinker's in charge. We're going to go to process, right? What's the next? Take the glove off. We're going to give you some tools so that you can train your mind to think about what you want to think about, not what you don't want to think about, because every shot has a life of its own. You want to walk to that next shot with big body language, like the last shot you just hit, no matter where it went, is setting you up for the next shot you're going to hit, right? But you can't, that's what I was saying, you can't have a bad game or a bad match because you couldn't get out of the sand and then go drill yourself in the sand and build blisters on your hands and improve your game because your inner critic is telling you can't get out of the sand, you can't get out of the sand, then you're not a good golfer, and then what are you trying to do? Anybody ever thought stack like that, right? Go through that one negative thing, leads you to the next, leads you to what am I even doing here? Anyone ever had that besides me? Some negative thought stacking? I see some heads, yeah, I see some hands. That's your inner critic. And that's why he says,
It wasn't hard. It wasn't because I wasn't working hard. I worked hard as soon as practice started. For that 2 hours, I'd go out there and bust my ass just like the rest of the guys on the team. But I didn't do anything before that, and I didn't do anything after that. It was like that was it, and then I'd go home and I'd be back in my regular space where you can't do that. It doesn't work that way.
your confidence starts from the time you wake up in the morning and it ends when you go to bed. What are you doing? Your pre-shot routine starts when you wake up. What are you telling yourself? I'm looking forward to practice. I belong here. I love the game of golf. I'm built for this. I can't wait to hit the next shot. What are you telling yourself in the morning? What are you visualizing in your mind in the morning? Success or failure? It's the programming. Your mind's like a computer, and your external world is simply a reflection of your internal world. So what he says is, I had to start doing things in the morning, and I had to start doing things at night. The success cycle, you can write this down: prepare, perform, reflect, and progress. Are you reflecting? Are you progressing? Here's the reflection tool I want you to have as part of your post-practice routine. Well, better how? Directly from Kobe Bryant. What did I do well today in practice? What did I learn? What do I want to get better at tomorrow? And then how am I going to do that? See where it starts? Well, inner champion. Better, not negative, just improvement. You don't have to be sick to get better, right? So what did I do well today? What did I learn? What do I want to do better, and how am I going to do it? If you'll start doing that after every match and every practice, you'll reflect and progress. Why don't most people do that? Why do you think? Well, everybody has time for important things. It's because they either don't know or they don't want to look back because all they think about is what went wrong. Shouldn't have missed that shot. Shouldn't have grabbed that club. Their negativity starts to gauge what happened instead of, hey, what did I do well? And what do I want to improve? And then how am I going to do that tomorrow? So if you'll do that, you'll go through that cycle, you'll continue to have a strategic advantage against everybody else, okay? So the first skill that I'm going to give you, I'm going to give a few skills to build unshakable self-confidence, and thank you, it starts with your body language. Your physicality changes your psychology. You can watch a basketball game, a football game, or a golf and pressure on yourself. So body language is going to shape your identity. The number one driver of all human performance is what you believe about yourself. So your body language is a big indicator to you about who you are. So we want to walk shoulders back, head up, eyes forward, marching, right? We want to walk with confidence, big body language, right? 10 feet tall, bulletproof. No matter what just happened, I'm ready for the next shot. That's what I want you to do. Because remember, feelings are real, but they're not facts. I want you to learn the benefits of acting your way into proper thinking. It's not fake it till you make it. It's do it till you become it. You are special. You are doing something unique. You are elite at what you do. Make sure your body is telling your mind who you are in every moment, right? The second you give into that negative body language, the second your mind grabs onto it, and then that inner critic, that little evil curator, he has something to go off of. You've just fed him, right? Because inside of all of us are two wolves, right? You have the dark wolf, which is worry, fear, doubt, and insecurity. That dark wolf is telling you you're not good enough, and it's chewing and chewing and chewing at you, and it's fighting with the good wolf, which is faith, hope, and optimism, and they're both competing in your mind. And I just want you to answer my question. Which of those two wolves wins if they're fighting? Any ideas? The one you feed. So what wolf are you feeding with your body language? What wolf are you feeding? Are you feeding the fear wolf, the doubt wolf, or are you feeling the confidence wolf, the commitment wolf, the courage wolf? That's where I want your shoulders back, your head up. Every shot's your shot. Remember, the past is not predictive, good or bad. Your next behavior is. Russell Wilson, who I now work for, through a long series of events for a company called Relentless, was in a 2014 NFC Championship game. He had thrown 4 interceptions against the Green Bay Packers. 4 interceptions. There were 5 minutes left in the game, and he just threw another interception. He could have said, I'm going through a divorce. It's just not my year. I just don't have it today. But he didn't. What he said is, I'm going to make my reads. I'm going to complete the next pass. I know there's time enough for us to score. He didn't say we're going to win. He didn't say I got him right where I want him. He just started staying neutral and feeding the good wolf. And he came back and won the game. What stat does Scotty Scheffler lead the PGA Tour in? What stat? A lot of them. Bounce back, right? He goes from bogey to birdie more than anybody else on the tour because he knows that bogey isn't predictive of the next hole. His current behavior is process over outcome, process over outcome, process over outcome. You should be so committed to your process that you don't even know where you stand. You just go through your process. Every single shot, process over outcome, because process is in your control. And the past isn't predictive, your current behavior is. But if you give into the dark wolf and you let that body language sink, you sink. So first commitment we make is to compete with big body language. We show up and we're energized. We show up and we are committed to being big body language throughout the, and if you can just do that, shoulders back, head up, eyes up, now you're in process. That's in your control. Right? So I just want you to write down how you're going to commit to having more confident body language. Commit to a physical or virtual high five with your coach, your teammates when you're playing. They did studies with NBA players. People with the biggest touch rate win the most championships, win the most MVPs. High fives create energy. So create your own virtual high five. High five yourself in the mirror when you wake up in the morning. Champion yourself or no one else will. If you don't believe in you, no one else is going to. So this starts right now. Everybody with me? This starts right now. Belief in ourselves starts right now. You see me? You feel that? That's big body language, okay? So when you focus on problems, this is something that's really important. Dr. Jason Self, who was another one of my mentors and with certification I did, talks about having a relentless solution focus. So what you focus on expands, okay? And when you focus on problems, what do you think you get? And when you focus on possibilities, what do you think you get? More opportunities, right? So remember, what you focus on expands. Everybody in the room, take 10 seconds, count the number of black things in the room. Ready? Go. How many did you get? 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 Okay, how many did you get? Okay. How many red things did you get? Why? Oh, you weren't looking for them. Your mind has something called your reticular activating system. You don't have to write it down, but it's your brain's filter.
Oh, fuck. So irritating.
That's right, Carrie. Is she okay? Carrie, you with us?
Driving.
Did you miss the exit? You okay? Okay, we're gonna assume Carrie's good. So when you're on the driving range, when you're in a tournament, when you're at home, what are you focused on? Problems or solutions, right? This is where expectancy theory comes in. What you focus on expands. So ask yourself, here's a simple question. What can I do to make this situation better? As soon as you experience a problem, forgot this club, forgot my glove, forgot my whatever, what can I do to make this situation better? Get focused on solutions, you're going to see more opportunities. Plus one question, what's something I can do to make this situation better? Okay? Stay relentlessly solution focused. In school, with your friends, ask yourself, what can I do to make this situation better? When you focus on problems, you'll get problems. When you focus on solutions, you'll get solutions. Okay? Words are tools. Self-talk. Stop listening to yourself, start talking to yourself. Think of your mind like a computer, and the program it runs is your self-talk, right? And the inner critic has the loudest voice unless I give you an introduction to your inner champion. So this is a book called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And I just want you to read what it says. It is a simple but powerful fact. Neither luck nor desire has the slightest thing to do with it. It makes no difference whether we believe it or not. The brain simply believes what you tell it most. And what you tell it about you, it will create. It has no choice. It has no choice. So you need to develop your own internal ad campaign. When I was growing up, McDonald's used to have an ad on TV. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. Now, I don't want to know any of that, but they advertise to me, and it's powerful. But what the world advertises to us is 1/10 the power of what you can advertise to yourself. What you think about you is 10 times more powerful. So I am a conditioned corporate athlete and a mental performance coach. I prioritize my physical health and I eat right. I haven't been to a drive-thru at McDonald's in decades, no matter how much they advertise to me, because that's not my identity. My identity, the number one driver of my behavior, what I say to myself every morning, right? I'm a committed father and friend. I prioritize my physical health. I exercise and eat right. Every morning I say that to myself. I know it like my birthday. Why? So I can condition my identity. You need to have your own confidence conditioning statement. Words are tools. This is an athlete named Pistol Pete Maravich, because I want to give you facts, not fantasy. I want you to understand the power of your words. Pistol Pete Maravich was interviewed by a newspaper. He said, I don't want to play 10 years in the NBA and die of a heart attack at 40. 33 years ago today, Pete Maravich died exactly like he predicted. He died at 40. He played 10 years in the NBA. Scary. Words are tools. Oh, let's not go there yet. Let me give you the setup. You don't remember. Some of you dads might. Curse of the Bambino, Boston Red Sox. Anybody remember it? Okay. 1918, the Boston Red Sox trade Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees. They never win another World Series. Get this. Never win another World Series. 1986. The Red Sox are 1 out away from winning the World Series. Bill Buckner's on first base. All he's got to do is field a ground ball, touch first base, and the curse is over. The Red Sox win their first World Series. Let's take a look at what happened.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
In ground ball. Not what I want to show you. What I want to show you is a TV interview that Bill Buckner gave 12 days before he played that game.
Dreams are that you're going to have a great series and win, and the nightmares are that you're going to let the winning run score on a ground ball through your legs. So, you know.
Ouch. Don't hit it in the sand. Don't go left. Don't go in the water. Don't miss this shot. How often you said that to yourself? How often have you stood on the first tee or stood on the water, the shot over the water and go, don't put it in the water? Instead of get it on the green, put it close to the pin. Aim small, miss small. Your brain is a target. When you give it a small place to go, it's going to go there. But when you tell it what you don't want to happen, it doesn't hear the word don't. It hears water, it hears woods, it hears out of bounds. So we want to be really, really careful with the words we say to ourselves because words are tools. Don't vote for what you don't want to happen. Vote for what you want to happen. It goes against your brain's negativity bias. You think you're protecting yourself by thinking about what you don't want to happen, but you're creating it. You're creating the ground ball that will go through your legs. Powerful, is that? Can't believe he said it. Shocking. Let's go to golf. Matt McClendon. Oh, I don't want to tell you what happened. He's rented a place at the Masters. He's playing terrible. He says to his wife the night before, he says, I need to withdraw. I'm playing so bad that I'm worried I'm going to hit somebody off the tee. Matt McClendon strikes woman in the head with golf ball in round 2. You know who he hit? His wife.
Oh.
They stayed married. She's okay. But are you getting these things? Words are tools, right? At the end of the day, what you say to yourself matters. And this is a quote by Bruce Lee. Don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. Your brain doesn't know the difference. Words are energies and they cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Change the way you speak about yourself and you can change your life. So here's what I'm going to give you. Inner critic compares to others. Take a little note of this and ask yourself who's loudest. Worry about other people's opinions. What will they think of me? What will they say? If I play bad, what's the coach going to say? What are my parents going to say? What are my friends going to think? Your inner critic's worried about being perfect. Golf is not a game of perfect. It's a game of progress. It's worried about the prize. Will I win? And it's worried about the past. What happened last? That's your inner critic. I see some heads shaking. Everybody knows that guy, right? She knows that girl, right? So that inner critic is installed at birth. You won't get rid of it. It's there to keep you safe and to keep you from going after your dreams. The only thing I can get you to do is turn up the volume on your inner champion. So let's meet your inner champion. Your inner champion compares only to you. It's you versus you. How good can you be today? How good can you be tomorrow? Can you be better today than yesterday? Better tomorrow than today? It's worried about your own opinion. What are you saying to yourself about yourself? Get that 10 times up. Let that 1/10 go to bed. What are you saying to yourself about yourself? It's focused on progress, right? Not perfection. It's focused on the process, not the prize. My pre-shot routine, right? Like an hourglass. I come into my shot, I go through my shot, I come out of my shot. No matter what happens, right? I go into my shot, I go through my shot, I come out of my shot, right? I go into my match, I go through my match, I come out of my match. I prepare, I perform, I reflect and progress. 3 things you should say to yourself after any shot. You know what they are? That's like me. Question, guarantee I know the answer. How many of you, after you hit a good shot, say anything to yourself? What do you say?
Honestly, Steve and I worked on it. I usually just like fish bump or something. Or if I had a bad shot, then I just try to punch it.
That's me. That's like me. You can hear Austin Reeves for the Lakers. I have a clip of him running up. That's me. I'm him. I'm him. You can hear Patrick Mahomes. I'm him. That's like me. I'm her. That's like me, or getting close. Or needs work. You could say that. Needs work. Getting close. That's like me. You don't want to say, there I go again. Here I go. Right? 3 things you can say to yourself. I prefer 2. That's like me. Every time you hit a shot you want. That's like me. And when you don't, just say needs work. Isn't that better? Can we commit to 2 self-talk statements today? That's like me. Needs work. We're getting better. And the present moment. That's where every shot lives, is in the present moment. Okay? That's your inner champion. Compare to yourself, own opinion, progress, process, and present moment focus. Let's ask Tony how self-talk helped him.
Tell yourself that I got what it takes. I got this.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. Repetition, and they're proving this now with studies, with meditation clinics. Like self-talk is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge, and it works wonders.
You get to the golf course. Your self-talk starts. The second you hear that inner critic, you just recognize it, be aware of it, challenge it. Hey, I don't need to listen to you anymore. I got a new voice. It's my inner champion. She's in charge. Thanks for trying to keep me safe. I get what you're trying to do. You don't want me to play today. You don't want me to go for it today. You don't want me to go for that scholarship. You don't want me to play a college. I know there's some risks to my ego if I do that, but I don't need to hear from you today. I got this. I believe in myself and I'm going for it. Better? So here's the 5 P's of your confidence conditioning statements. They got to be personal about you. They have to be present tense, I am, I have, as if you have the gift already. They've got to be positive statements, right, about what you want to happen. Avoid Bill Buckner. They've got to be precise, be specific about your strengths and your abilities. I work hard. You want to reward effort. Labels limit, right? Kids grow up all the time. Oh, you're such a gifted athlete. You're such a good student, right? And we try to protect that label so we don't take chances. Reward effort. Remember, it's the effort that creates the results. Labels limit, right? So go for the effort. I put the work in. I belong here. Those are the things that are you want to say to yourself. I'm an elite golfer. My short game is getting great. I'm out of the sand. You can't stop me. And then powerful. You have to have emotion behind it. You see the emotion that I bring. You see the emotion that's behind this because I care. You care. Have emotion. Okay. So your confidence conditioning statements, write down, what are you going to say to yourself? Create one confidence conditioning statement when you leave here, and then identify when you're going to say that to yourself. Michael Phelps used to say his confidence conditioning statements every time he walked through a door. Now, he won a lot of gold medals, and you think, like Steve said, he's just as confident as they come. He was riddled with self-doubt, depression, and anxiety. And it took every time he walked through a door saying one of his confidence conditioning statements to himself. So he just kept beating his inner critic into the ground, beating his inner critic into the ground. So what are you going to say to yourself, and when are you going to say it? You see the tools, right? The drills. If you want to build confidence, get your body language right. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Get your self-talk right. I have a whole confidence conditioning workshop. I just want to give you the best tools today, but it's up to you to leave here now and start training and doing these drills to build the skill of confidence. So what are the skills to build confidence? Body language. What else? Stay solution focused. What else? Self-talk, right? Body language, focus, and self-talk, BFS. Focus on your body language, get your solution focus, and get your confidence conditioning statements down and condition yourself. Remember, your brain around confidence is like a bank account. Think of it. You want to protect it. Make deposits, not withdrawals. Is this thought that I'm having helping my confidence or taking it away? If it's a withdrawal, forget it. Even as you're going from drill to drill in practice, and you might have missed 3 shots, focus on the one you hit well as you go to the next drill. Bring that confidence into the next drill. Not that coach saw me miss those shots. I'm probably going to, don't go there. Protect your psychological bank account with your life. There's a time for better and how, and you can reflect on that. But keep your psychological bank account with deposits and limit the withdrawals. Is that clear? Is that understandable? That your brain's like, and confidence isn't something that you always have. You have to work for it. It's not a decisive victory. It's a daily battle because that inner critic will chirp back in again, right? So you want to keep building your confidence, working on your confidence, developing your confidence so that you can have your confidence when you need it the most. It's there. You don't have to hope that it comes. You don't have to wish that it comes. Okay. And the last skill is visualizing. Really important. Okay. Everything happens twice and always in your mind first. So they did a study in the University of Chicago. They gave 10 basketball players a job of going to their dorm rooms and spending 30 minutes every day visualize making free throws. The other group went to the gym and practiced making free throws, and the other group played video games and didn't do anything. So one group visualized making free throws, one group actually went and practiced making free throws, the other did nothing. The practice group increased their free throw percentage by 24%. The group that didn't practice didn't get any better. The group that visualized, only 1% worse than the people that actually went to the gym. Things happen twice, always in your mind first. So visualize that shot, see it where it wants to go. Close your eyes, smell the grass, see yourself walking the next shot. Visualize the course that you're playing. Go online and look at it before you play it, and then take yourself through every single match, every single hole. There was a Vietnam fighter pilot who was shot down in prison, starved, beaten for 4 years, played his home golf course. He was a 20 handicap, played his home golf course in his mind every day to keep him sane, walked out, had a hamburger, and shot a 74. He had practiced for 4 years in his mind, playing every shot, hearing the leaves, smelling the grass, what it's going to be like to play, how he was going to putt that hole over and over and over again in his mind. So visualize before you realize and see it happening in your mind first. Do you think Tony Gonzalez visualized?
The confidence, closing your eyes, putting yourself in that game, speed, that smell of the grass, looking up at the crowd, seeing the happiness from my coaches. Like I would do this before I even played the game.
Yeah.
I do this with my kids now. I have 4 kids, and I do guided meditations, and I've seen a result. Like
amazing.
It changes everything when you play the game in your head before you go out there. But it has to come from your heart.
You have to feel it. You have to smell the grass. You have to hear yourself walking down to the next shot. See yourself strapping your glove on. See yourself taking that shot, finishing high. See the ball flight that you want to have in your mind. Visualize first. Things happen twice, always in your mind first. Does anybody have a visualization practice? I'm not talking about daydreaming. I'm talking about closing your eyes, seeing yourself, going through your pre-shot routine, taking the shot, seeing yourself after a shot. Anybody have that in their bag? Okay, that we're going to work, that we need to work on. You need to be, that is a competitive advantage. And you can visualize making a mistake and coming back from it. You can visualize all of these things in your mind so that they've already happened once you're there. You're like, wow, I've already made that putt. I've already seen that shot. I already got out of the sand on that hole. And the method that I would ask you to use, I call the ball method for easy memory. So you're going to breathe, right? Take that big breath. You're going to say your confidence conditioning statement to yourself. So you're wiring yourself for success. You're going to look back at prior success. This comes from Pele, who was an elite athlete. He used to do this before every match. Look back at prior success that he had, see himself being successful, making that putt, making that shot, walking off, winning that tournament. And then he would project that into the next tournament. So he was having that confidence that came from prior success and projecting that into the next event. So that's the ball method of visualization. Breathe, affirmations. I'm built for this. I got this. I compete with big body language and confidence. I trust my training. I play one shot at a time. You can't keep me down. Whatever yours is. Then you look back. Trust me. Up. Finished, walked off the green, won. Wow, that's amazing. First tee at North Ranch. See that hole? Take that ball left to right. See it land. Takes a perfect hop. Walk down. Second shot, got 140 in. But you get it, like it's real. It's happening in your mind. You've already played the hole. Okay. Self-control and discipline. This is, to me, the most significant skill that I can give you today. If you can't control yourself, you can't control your performance. Hear that. If you can't control yourself, you can't control your performance. The benefits of self-control and discipline, it's going to help you understand and make decisions that align with your goals. It's going to improve your performance by not allowing the inevitable mistakes and setbacks that occur to wear you down and steal your focus. And it's going to convert usual obstacles into a plan of action. Obstacles into a plan of action. I'm going to give you something to go to when you need it the most. And it's going to reduce your stress and worry because you're going to know that you already have this in your bag. So here's the 3 please. You get anybody feel pressure for tournament? Feel pressure? Okay. Guess what? 3 P's: preparation, process, and perspective. Those butterflies in your stomach, they're there for a reason. It's excitement, not nerves. Nerves is I'm worried I'm going to make a mistake. Excitement is I'm getting ready to do something great. So literally telling yourself I'm excited to play today is going to convert your interpretation of those nerves. Those nerves came from when you were young. When you were young and couldn't play, you had those same feelings, but it's really excitement, but you didn't have the skill you have now. So you made mistakes when you were young, and now you associate those feelings with that mistake. Not true anymore. What it's telling you is you're getting ready to do something important that you care about. You don't want to have the energy and the chemicals in your body that you have watching TV when you're going to play a golf tournament. You want your heart to race. You want cortisol. You want a little adrenaline. You want your stomach enzymes to be producing the stress hormone that you need to compete and to be focused. You want all, that's what's happening. The sweaty palms, the heart racing, right? That's good for you. It's getting you ready to do something important. Trust your training and the preparation that you've done. Have a process that you can go into and give yourself the perspective that I'm excited. Simply saying that, as shown in research, converts your nerves into excitement and gives you the confidence that you need to play, that I'm prepared for this. And I'm just going to go through my process. And if you didn't have that, give me the grade you're in. Grade? What grade are you in? Okay. So what if I told you we're going to all go play golf against a bunch of kindergarten kids that have never played? Would you be nervous? We're going to go play some kindergartners. They've never picked up a club before. All we need to do is beat them by 3 shots. Can we do that? Nervous? Worried? So why do you get worried when you're playing against other teams? Because your mind's telling you you could lose. Your mind's telling you this is really important. I don't want to mess up. Your mind's telling you a story, right? So E plus R equals O. What dictates your response is the story you're telling yourself. You're worried what other people are going to think. You're worried what other people are going to say. You're worried, what does this mean for your career? That's the story you're telling yourself. Instead of, I'm built for this. I'm ready. So the story you tell yourself is what affects the pressure that you're feeling. So the plan for pressure is simply to prepare, trust your preparation. The golf ball knows. Did you put in the work? Did you keep all your practice schedules? Did you go to the range when you said you were going to? Did you putt as much as you said you were going to? Oh, I'm ready for this. Process. 3-shot routine, through, out. Did I go through my process? All I want to focus on every shot. Come into my shot, go through my shot, come out of my shot, right? And what happens is you have signal lights. Think of your green light as when you're green and going. You're good, you feel good, you're hitting good shots, right? Yellow, so green is you're hitting green lights, keep cruising, just like you would with a car, right? Mom and dad driving the car, you guys drive your car. What happens when you hit green lights? Keep going, right? Yellow light, have a miscue. That's a negative emotion. You feel out of control, right? This is a yellow or red light. Tell me if this makes sense. You track heart and mind races, right? So you have a miscue, a negative emotion, and you feel a little out of control. Yes, so far? Heart and mind start racing. Yes? Get a little sped up. Your muscles tighten. Tighten. Muscle tighten, pressure, tension, poison for golf. Shortness of breath, you start breathing shallow. You're not taking that big, deep breath anymore. You get winded. You lose focus. You get negative self-talk. You create the negative result you're focused on. That's yellow or red light. Familiar with it? So every athlete, I worked with several professional athletes, they'd say this is the most important skill they learned was being able to go from yellow and red light back to green light. Because the yellow and red lights are coming. You're going to have a miscue. Question is, do you have a plan and a process to get through it? It's called a reset routine, right? So it's recognize your signal lights, release them, flush it, make the next best shot, and then refocus. But I want to give you a strategy for how to do that. We do confidence with our body language. We do confidence with our focus on solutions. We do confidence with our self-talk. We do confidence by preparing ourselves to see things first before they happen in our mind, right? We know our mindset is a conditioned set of beliefs. We know we're fighting against that negativity bias, so we have to go to work every day, condition ourselves for success. So far? So now, this self-control discipline, and I was saying before I left, I've worked with professional athletes from rugby to tennis. I've worked with collegiate golfers. This is the one skill they wish somebody would have taught. In fact, some of my professional athletes say, I used to do this and I stopped. No one ever taught me how to go from yellow or red light to get back into green light. They tend to stay in yellow or red light as that frustration builds and that negativity starts to stack. They stay in yellow and red light throughout their match, their tournament, their game, never able to get back to green light when they were in flow. You've heard of flow? Flow is where we're in process. Flow is when we're forgetting ourselves so we can be ourselves. Flow is when we don't have that tension or that judgment, right? That judgment, if I could give you anything to remove, it's judging yourself for your performance. You never want to judge yourself for your performance. Your performance is neither good nor bad. It's just the performance that you're engaged in. Judging yourself, that inner critic, giving that inner critic a voice is where that tension comes from, and that's how you stay in yellow or red light. So these are the 3 steps. They're the 3 R's to getting back to green light. First, you have to recognize your signal light. So let's go through kind of what puts us in green, yellow, red light. Guess what we're gonna use? We're gonna use the same things that can build our confidence, to tear our confidence down, to get our confidence back. So green light, stress level is low, right? We feel prepared, we're hitting every shot that we want, we're in our process, our body language is big. In yellow light, it's building to where it is negatively affecting you. So you're starting to feel some stress. What does stress feel like when you're on the course? What do you feel like when you recognize stress coming in?
Probably like more panic.
Yeah, a little more panic. So your heart's racing, your mind's racing, things are speeding up for you. Does that make sense? Okay. And red light, stress is high or we're out of control. It feels like this, I've lost control of this match. I've lost control of my game. I don't know what's happening now. That's where your stress level is in red light. So this is the idea of awareness, right? Remember, awareness precedes choice, choice precedes change. You can't fix what you're not aware of. Oh, I'm in yellow light. Oh, this feels like a red light. Body language, right? Builds our confidence, can take it down. When we're in yellow, when we're in green light, big and strong, shoulders back, heads up. We're putting the club in the bag. We're walking, we're throwing on our shoulders, we're walking to the next shot like we just nailed this last shot. That's when we're in green light. Keep going. Yellow light, tight. Shoulders get a little slumped. We're a little slower, right? A little more thought provoking. Our minds are starting to speed up and our body's starting to hunch over. What else happens when you're in yellow light? Anyone else besides those things? Or does that sound like yellow light to everybody? Yeah, okay. And red light, tension's taking over. You feel tight and your heart's racing. Like you feel threatened, right? You ever heard of the fight, flight, or freeze responses, right? That's your amygdala. So your amygdala is kicking in, and what your amygdala is doing is it's saying there's a threat to your career, a threat to your playing, a threat to your ranking, a threat to your scholarship. You're under complete tension, and if you don't do something, fight, flight, or freeze, you're going to lose. And so you stay in red light. Tension's taking over. Okay. What happens to your focus when you're in yellow light? Your present moment dialed into what you're doing. You're literally playing what? One shot at a time, one putt at a time, right? You're playing one play at a time. What happens when you're in yellow light? Past or future, right? It's on outcomes, not the process. Am I going to win? Am I going to place? Am I going to lose my ranking? I start to become outcome focused, right? And in red light, no focus at all. I call it the 3 Ps. You're in prayer. I hope I play well. Primal, I'm going to make this shot, right? We tend to speed up when we should be slowing down. If the breath isn't part of your pre-shot routine, it is today. That breath is going to bring you right back to the present moment. It's going to take that amygdala and put it in check. It's going to bring your heart rate down and it's going to get you focused on, because what happens is you want to get to the next shot, hit the next shot, because the next one will be good. I want to forget that. And it's the exact opposite because you're rushing. You want to stay deliberate, right? Tiger Woods, when he won the 2008 US Open in the playoff against Rocco Median, he needed to make a putt to force a playoff. Imagine for the US Open to go into a full day of golf against Rocco Median. And the announcers asked him after that round, I think it was on Mike and Mike in the morning, they were still together. They said, what are you thinking with standing over that putt? I know what I'd be thinking. Don't miss this or you're going home. He goes, that's why you're on the radio and I play professional golf. Because I think of 3 things over every putt. See the putt, read the putt, release the putt. Read it, see it, release. Read it, see it going in, release. I think of that Wednesday in a pro-am, Saturday, Sunday it doesn't matter the environment. It matters what he's doing. And those 3 statements are locked into his mind. They're called process anchoring statements. They anchor you in the process, not what happens if I miss it, right? If you're a Dodger fan, you see Freddie Freeman, he's not thinking I got to hit a home run or we're going to lose. He's thinking, see the ball, be easy, hammer it. Process anchoring statements. Stay focused on the process to get back to green light. So primal, prayer, or I got to be perfect. I got to make every shot or I'm going to lose. Does that sound like red light? Okay. And then we've got self-talk. See these things that we've covered that can build our confidence? They take it away when we go from green to yellow light. So what's our self-talk when we're green? We're good, right? We're not beating ourselves up, right? Imagine if a pro golfer had a caddy who spent all day telling him how bad he was. You're gonna hit the water. You're gonna hit this shot. You're gonna miss this putt. How long would he be on his back? And then when he's done, he goes to his hotel room and he says, "You played terrible today. You should give in your card, give it back." Would he keep that caddy around? right? So when you're in green light, you got championship self-talk. I'm built for this. This is exactly what I planned it for. This is why I put in all that work. I love being out here. Grass is green, team's playing. I got this. We're good. What happens in yellow light? Sound familiar? Doubt and worry creep in. Negative and critical, right? Now we've thought stacked. We've gone all the way from doubt and worry to complete self-criticism. And that's where you end up in red light. And that's where you're rushing shots. That's where you're out of routine. That's where you don't have your process anymore. If there's anything, that's why I say those 3 Ps to dealing with pressure: preparation, your process. You should be so focused on your process. And if you don't have one, get one. You can rely on it because it's the thing that brings you back to the present moment. Pre, through, out. Pre, through, post out, right? Getting back to just enjoying the grass. Getting yourself to let your mind go when you're walking to the next shot, which is, in the moment, and having yourself back to green light. So I use this idea of tapping the reset button. It's one thing to say flush it, but I want to give you somewhere to put your mind. So besides just flush it, you have a thought strategy that gets you back to green light, right? And do you get to tap the reset button, right? Yellow or red light, I gotta tap the reset button. What does it stand for? T, thought. Have a predetermined verbal trigger to indicate you're letting go of the stress you're experiencing. Thought, next shot, best shot. Thought, I'm built for this. Thought, I come back stronger. Thought, have it pre-registered, plan it, use it in practice. When you get stressed in practice, if you're practicing and you see yourself getting into yellow or red light, practice your reset. Just like you would prepare for a match physically, practice it mentally. So you have a reset thought. Action, make a physical action with an association, right? It could be taking your glove off, putting it in your bag, releasing the last shot. When I put the glove on, I'm getting ready for the next shot. It could be wiping your hands on your towel, right? Something you do with association. So the physical action is a release routine for you that you're letting go of the last shot. And you're getting, you see baseball players, Aaron Judge, all the time. My buddy was the hitting coach for the New York Yankees, grabs third and throws it away. You see batters step out of the batter's box. Nomar Garciaparra used to be famous. And all they're doing is something physical. Basketball players just releasing the last shot, right? Physical action with association. What's yours? And then the last. Find a place in your field on the course to take a breath on a focal point to reset and get your body out of your amygdala back into your prefrontal cortex. When you're in your amygdala, your fear center, I'll call it, Amy G, your amygdala, she's getting you to be primal. She's getting you to pray or try and be perfect. She's fight, flight, or freeze, trying to rush you through your game. What you want to do is use the breath, like you can pick a tree, you can put the top of the flag. You watch all the great pitchers, they get on the mound, first thing they do, centering. Clears your mind, brings you back in the present moment, but it also relaxes that heart racing that's speeding you up, that's creating tension. So pick a place to take a breath. That's your P. Find a place to take a breath. It could be that you take your next club out and you put it up and you just look at the top of the club. You look at the hosel, you look at the okay, I'm reset. So you got a thought, a physical action with association, and a place to take a breath. What am I doing by giving you those 3 things to tap the reset button? What's that giving you? A strategy, right? It's giving you something to go to when you need it the most, instead of just having your mind do its thing and take you from yellow into red and then staying in red. It's like, oh, I'm resetting. This is the key to playing one shot at a time, right here. Tap the reset button. I've got a strategy now to get myself calm and focused in the present moment, get myself talk back right with a good thought, get an action back so that I have a physical way to flush, to actually flush, not just say flush, but physically flush that last shot. I take a breath, which gets me out of my amygdala, my fear center, into my prefrontal cortex, which is where your executive function happens. Just think of it like all of the training that you do is registered in your prefrontal cortex. All those shots that you've hit, all those putts that you've made, all that trust that you have lives up here. And when you get into your amygdala, you don't have access to it. You totally lose flow. You totally lose green light. Any questions about this? Do you understand it? Can you do it? Does everybody have a reset thought that they wrote down right now? Does everybody have a reset action? It doesn't have to be perfect, but leave here with one. Don't just think about it, be about it. And then, and if it doesn't work for you, come up with something else. You know what? It doesn't work for me. The towel doesn't work for me. The glove doesn't work for me because I can't associate with it. So I actually take the glove off, put it in my bag. Maybe it's your water bottle. I have some tennis players that literally put a green sticky on their tennis racket. They go back to their towel. They hit the green button on their tennis racket to remind them they got to get the green light. They put their racket up. They take a breath on the top of the net or the left field foul pole. So just have these and practice them in your practice so that you can train them. So that's release and then refocus. Have a deep breath on a focal point, club up. Final thought, I'm built for this. Final image or feeling that you want, I call that a tip. And then we're off and going. We're back to green light. This is what, when you talk about the mental game and training the mental part of the game, this is what it's about. Can you get so good at your process, your reset process, that you'll always get back to green light? You always have a strategy to get back to green light. And some days you're going to be in yellow light a lot. Good. Keep coming back. Keep saying, I got this next shot. Keep practicing that, right? You're not so bad that you need to be 100% all the time to play your best. Give 100% of whatever you got that day, but give it through this process. Okay? So what are the 3 R's? Recognize our signal lights. Recognize. Where am I? Body language, focus, self-talk. You can evaluate it, right? That's a quick signal. Negative self-talk, I got to reset, right? Stress, tension in my shoulders, my body language getting back, I got to reset. Become aware of it, then release it, then refocus with that final breath. Breath is twice. Why? Because I want you to be focused and concentrated. Has anybody ever told you, by the way, when that pressure is building, to calm down? Just calm down. Anyone ever said that to you? Good luck. Good luck. And by the way, I don't want you calm. I want you relaxed and focused. Right? Calm is what you are when you're eating jelly beans, watching TV, you're calm. You're getting ready to compete, you're getting ready to go after it. Your competition is the course, right? And you want to play against the best. The competition is what makes us good. That's why surfers go after big waves. We don't want to go play those kindergarten kids. We want the competition. We want to play the best. We want to be up against the best. There's somebody who's scoring better than me right now. I want to play him tomorrow. Why? Because I want to see how good I can get. I want to always be chasing that competition to see how good I can get because the competition makes me better. Don't want to play down. That's not going to get you better. You want to continue to push yourself. Okay. Mindset, conditioned beliefs and behaviors. We're going after the $50. Confidence, to our self-talk, our solution focus, our body language, our self-talk, and our visualization to get prepared. What are the 3 P's to take on pressure? Preparation. What else? Process. Perspective. This isn't a threat to me. Do you know what I mean by perspective when I say perspective will give you an advantage against pressure? So you can view it as a threat or an opportunity, right? You can view it as something that could take something from going into this match is there to take something of me, or I'm there to take something from it, right? It's the story you're telling yourself, right? I hear so many people say, oh, this match is life and death. They're watching me. This could be my scholarship. No, it's just the next match. That's the only reason it's the most important is it's the next one. We give things so much meaning. We build them up in our minds and then we create pressure and tension and say it's just the next match. It's just the next shot. So the story you tell yourself is about the perspective you have about what you're doing. You're just playing golf. That's why so many athletes, and you might hear this, right? She's so good in practice. But she gets on the course and she seems to lose her confidence. It's the same game, it's the same club, it's the same shot. It's the story you're telling yourself. The meaning you're giving it that's creating pressure, that's creating that tension, that's keeping you in yellow and red light and your heart going instead of relaxing, say, next golf game. That's what I practice for. That's why I play. That's what I love to do. So it's when I say perspective, it's the story you're telling yourself. It's the meaning you give it. It's only important because it's the next match. It's only important because it's the next shot. What it means, we'll see. Does that help understand the story you tell yourself is about the... Okay. So element 3 about resilience is I think one of my best high performance strategies called neutral thinking. This was actually created by Russell Wilson's mental performance coach, a guy who wrote a book called It Takes What It Takes, which is a great performance book by Trevor Moawad, who passed away of cancer. And neutral thinking was this idea that sometimes positive is hard, right? So if you did poorly on a test and your boyfriend breaks up with you, or girlfriend breaks up with you, or you don't get selected to play in a match, and someone says, hey, no, be positive. What are you going to tell them? Go play in track, right? Positive could be hard in that moment, right? It can be challenging. So what has always been the alternative to positive? If you're not positive, negative, right? It's where we go to. So I'm offering you a solution, which is simply going to bring all this stuff together, which is neutral thinking. And what I want you to think about is this, buffalo, okay? In Montana, in the Great Plains, there's two animals that share those plains, the cows and the buffalo. When these huge storms come over the plains into Montana, those animals react very differently. The cows sense danger and they turn and they run and they get decimated by the storm. You know why? Because it's on them for a very long period of time. They're trying to avoid the pain and they get decimated by it. Not these guys. You know what the buffalo do? They turn, shoulder up, and charge directly into the storm. Why? Because they're in the storm. The storm's coming this way and they're going this way, directly into it. So they survive and get stronger. So when the storms are coming, when the challenge is coming, you know what I want you all to say? Bring it on. Obstacles make me stronger. I'm not running like a cow. I'm charging like a buffalo. You got something for me? You got a tough match? You got a tough opponent? You got a tough course? What do we say? Bring it on. What do we say? What do we say? Bring it on. Bring it all on. Ohms. Obstacles make me stronger. I'm not running like a cow from any course or from any competitor. I'm charging right into it because I know when I get through it like the buffalo, I'm going to survive and I'm going to be stronger. You hear me? And so neutral thinking is your way through this. When it's challenging for you to be positive, I want you to get to neutral. There's 5 steps we've already worked on. Because the actual truth is negative or positive. When you remove judgment from it, remember, remove judgment from it, it's simply neutral. It's the harmony between the two extremes, negative and positive. The past is not predictive. Your current behavior is. The past is not predictive. Your current behavior is. Neutral thinking is a high performance based mindset that is the most effective during times of adversity and stress. Feel that in a tournament? Feel that in practice? Feel that when things are going on the line? Neutral is a non-judgmental approach to thinking that emphasizes accepting the reality. I hit that shot in the sand. I hit that shot out of bounds, good or bad, and focuses on non-negativity and behaviors as a strategy to face adversity. Behavior-based thinking. What's the next right step I need to take? I'm going to give you 5 steps to get to neutral. I just told you the story earlier, right? That is how Russell Wilson won that game, was by staying neutral, even though he threw 4 interceptions with 5 minutes left. He didn't go negative. So getting to neutral, there's 5 steps. We've covered them, right? So select a challenge or adverse situation you're facing right now. Think of one. Got one? Something challenging you're facing. First, go to truth. Accept reality. Don't give it a narrative. This is happening. I am facing this. This did happen. Second, stay in the present moment. Be where your feet are. Third, don't verbalize negativity. No Bill Buckners. We're not going to say anything negative out loud. Stop saying stupid things out loud. That's going to keep you from going negative. Remember the bat? Control what you can control. Ask yourself, what's in my control? Remember, yourself and your ache, your appearance, your body language, your positive self-talk, your energy, your attitude, right? All those things in my control. Make a list of them. Ask yourself, what's in my control? Not what the other person's doing, not what the coach is doing, not how much playing time I'm getting. Nothing that's out of my control gets my attention. I go all in on what's in my control and then ask yourself, what's the next right step? Next right step is I got to go hit this shot. Next right step is to grab my putter and walk up there and make a putt. Next right step is to work my sanding. Next right shot is to hit my next iron. No matter what happened, accept reality, good or bad. Go to truth. It happened. Stay present. Don't verbalize any negativity. Don't let the inner critic get a voice. Focus on what's in your control, take the next right step. That's the 5 steps to getting to neutral, and you can use it in any adverse situation to make sure you're the buffalo. Questions about neutral? Understand it, right? So now you don't have to be positive. So you hit a shot you don't want to hit, right? And you're competing for the tournament. You hit a shot and it goes behind a tree. It got a bad break. Hey, that happened. What's important now? Punch out. I'm going to get on the green the next shot. No negativity, not blaming anybody, not being a victim, being a creator, being a hero of my own story. Taking my pen, writing the next chapter, focusing on what the next right step is. Punch out. Once I punch out, what's the next right step? Take my breath, release. I got a nice 8-iron in. Here I go, putting it close. Aim small, miss small. Pick a target, go through that process, visualize what you want to happen, hit that shot. Now we just save par. Instead of, damn, I'm behind a tree. I'm definitely not going to be where I need to be. I can't, right? That negativity, that's the opposite of getting to neutral. So now you have a strategy. You have a strategy to self-control and discipline, recognize, release, reset. You can get to neutral very easily through these steps. And that is what I want you to know. Now, why am I here? Why am I really here? Why did I really want to have you ladies in today and your parents? Because champions are born and then unmade. And the reason that I'm here today is because I don't want anyone to ever unmake you from being the absolute best you can be. No one, including yourself. Especially yourself. You see, I faced a lot of adversity, it's true. I had a violent father. I faced alcoholism and addiction. I've had failures in my business and in my relationships. But the biggest adversary I ever faced was me. It wasn't David versus Goliath, it was Charlie versus Charlie. And for a lot of years, the worst of me was winning. Because I gave this pen away. I gave the pen to the story of my life. And everything that's good in my life happened when I took this back. And I decided that I would write the next sentence, the next paragraph, and the next page of my story. So I brought these pens up here for you. I used to hand them out. I would have had one at all your seats, but I don't hand them out anymore. You know why? Because you have to decide if you want to get up and take that pen. I can't give it to you. Because if you do, your life, your career, your future is now in your hands and no one else's, because you become the author of your story. It comes with great responsibility and great power. I hope after we're done today that each and every one of you will take that pen. And if you do, I hope you will write me a great story for your lives. Thank you.